Hello, this tutorial is for Java developers who have none or little bit understanding of Apache Camel. If you would like to know more about Apache Camel and enterprise integration pattern in general, please have a look at my other videos. I have given the link in description. This is a complete hands-on tutorial. Okay, we'll be installing Apache Camel from start, of course. Okay, and then we'll try to implement our first route using Java DSL as well as XML DSL. Okay, even though I said this is a complete hands-on tutorial, but let's have a understanding of high-level vocabulary which I will be using throughout this tutorial to make sure you understand when I use those terms. Okay, so in Apache Camel you have two things, right? One is called these nodes, and we use the term called endpoints for these nodes. Okay, what these nodes do basically, they are your endpoints where your consumer or your producer communicate. And in Apache Camel, these two nodes or endpoints get connected through a line called route. Okay, left hand side node or endpoint is called consumer. Why is it called consumer? Because it's consuming data from some upstream source. Right hand or end of a route is called producer. Why is it called producer? Because it's producing some data for your application or for your downstream client. All right, your consumer will be connecting to some sort of source, data source. Okay, and Camel provides literally hundreds of components, okay, which represent or which can fast track your work to talk to these sources. You name it, whether it's some sort of RDBMS database, Oracle, MySQL, etc. You have the components available or provided by Apache Camel. You have several components for all middlewares, right? You have JMS, you have RabbitMQ, ActiveMQ, you name it, right? File movers, several for AWS, and there are bunch for to solve enterprise integration problems as well. Okay, so on the right hand side you can see so consumer is consuming something from RDBMS, like it's passing over this route where you will be putting your business logic, okay, and then producer will be writing to the destination or your what do you say, downstream system. You always have to have one consumer endpoint. Okay, you must have one consumer endpoint, but you can have 0 or 1 producers. Another good thing with Camel routes is like you can build a whole chain of these various endpoints, and you can complete your route basically. So say for example over here I have a consumer, okay, then it's sending to this little endpoint over here, and in this case it becomes consumer when it's consuming for the first time. Later on it becomes producer, and then it's like sending to another downstream endpoint which is our final and ultimate destination. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to implement a story or this use case. Say given a directory, when there is a new file, then read the file and move it to another directory. Very simple user story. However, if you have to write this particular user story in Java code, you will be writing maybe 20, 30, 40 lines, because first you have to open the directory, browse the content of it, then pick up the file, read the content of the file, then try to create another directory or file where you would like to move the file to, and then you will be dealing with all this input stream readers and output stream readers and etc. In Camel you don't do these things. You literally have 1 or 2 lines of code. You just say, I like to do this using this component, this is how I like to process it, and ultimately I like to finish like this. Okay, so let's have a look at the magic of Apache Camel. It's, trust me, is super powerful set of libraries which gonna make your life so much easier when it comes to some sort of integration. All right, so first thing what you want to do, go to Spring Starter website. Okay, let's just head over there. So type start.spring.io in your browser, okay, and this page will be loading. After that, say Maven project. You can use Gradle if you are comfortable or familiar with Gradle. I use Maven on a daily basis, so I'm gonna stick with it. Language, I'm gonna use Java, of course. I'm using 2.6.4 snapshot. Please check if the Camel support is available for the better version of Spring Boot. Then fill these details. Say for example, I'm saying group Sagu Camel, tutorial name is Camel, this, okay, and put these two dependencies, one Apache Camel and Spring Web, so our application can keep running in the background. All right, hit generate and our project will be downloaded, and then I'm going to load that project into IntelliJ. All right, so I have loaded that project in my IntelliJ. As you can see, it's empty, there is nothing. Only file we have is called Camel tutorial application, which is of course to start our application in a Spring Boot manner. Have a look at the pom.xml. So you will notice that it has imported Spring Boot web starter web for us and Camel Spring Boot starter. That's it. You just need these two things to begin with. Camel Spring Boot starter already has bunch of components included, such as file mover, for example. If you like to use any specialized components such as JMS, RabbitMQ, have a look at the Maven repo or Apache Camel's website. You will be able to find the right component for your particular use case, okay, because as I said, Camel has literally hundreds of components available to meet all sort of use cases. All right, so let's close this file. What we would like to do is first let's try to implement a route using Java DSL, okay, and then we'll try to use a Java XML to fulfill the same use case. Why you like to use Java versus XML? Entirely up to you. You can both have their own pros and cons. XML fits nicely in for some use cases, but sometimes you just want to use Java because it's easier to kind of read, plus you'll be able to debug it nicely, you'll be able to put bunch of stuff, but again, entirely up to you what you want to use. Camel has a support for both XML as well as Java. First thing, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new class called, let's say, file mover root. That's it. Okay, we like to make it Spring component. Okay, so Spring can register this as a Spring bean. One thing you have to do here is you have to extend a class called root builder. Okay, you have to extend a class called root builder. Obviously this error means there are maybe methods which we must overwrite over here. So if I hover my mouse, okay, it says implement method, and there is one method called configure. That's it. So our root is the empty root is ready. Now I can start implementing my business logic. So what was our requirement? Given a directory, okay, if there is a file, read the content of the file and then move the file to another directory. Okay, it's as simple as that. So how do you build root? Okay, so first we like to give our starting endpoint, and it's super, it's so easy to read, like saying from, do something, and to. So I'm saying from, this is where I will be defining my URI. Okay, URI starts with component name and then bunch of options. Okay, so I'm going to use component called file in my URI. Okay, and then I'm saying go to a folder called tmp camel, and please keep reading this particular folder. If you see a new file, just move it. Okay, so we have said read this particular folder. Another thing what we can do is we can say log, whatever you see, so log the content of this file. Okay, how you can do that? You can simply say $body. You can also print headers. Okay, let me print in another line called headers. So it will be able to tell you, like, you know, the name of the file, maybe a little bit information about the size, bit of maybe attributes of that file, etc., etc. Okay, and ultimately what we want to do, we want to say to, again, we want to read from a file and we want to put into file. Okay, it doesn't has to, you have to, you can read from a database, you can put it into some sort of middleware, or you can read from a file, put it into some sort of database. Over here, just for simplicity purposes, okay, or to demonstrate how you can, you know, kickstart Camel development, I'm simply using file component. Okay, so I'm saying I've read it from temp camel and I am going to move it to tmp camel, let's call it processed, for example. Super simple. Okay, that's it. In literally 2 lines, if you see, like, if you ignore the logging bit, in literally 2 lines we have build or fulfilled that particular complex use case, like reading a directory, you know, monitoring for the file, and then moving. If you have to write this in Java, you'll be writing a lot of code, right? You know, for loop, which is kind of monitoring. Over here, boom, simple. That's pretty much it. Let's start our application. Okay, so my application has started. As you can see, there is nothing printing over here at the moment. Now let's go to terminal. Where is the terminal? Where is my terminal? Here it is. Okay, so terminal is opening nicely over here. Okay, so what I want to do is, in my terminal, let's just say where we are standing at the moment. Yes, we are in the tmp camel directory. Let's create our first file called abc1.txt. over here I like to say hello ABC, hello ABC world. Fair enough, doesn't matter. Okay, save the file, and as soon as you come out, notice one thing: Camel has found the file. Okay, so what it's saying, first it's printing the headers for us. So here is the list of headers. Let's just try to understand. It's saying Camel file absolute. Yes, I'm reading from the absolute path. Okay, this is the absolute path, tmp camel abc text, last modified this, file length this, name of the file is this, camel file consumed this, name only this, file parent this, file path this, relative path. Oh my god, looks like, you know, a lot of stuff is repeated. Anyways, camel message timestamp. So this is saying this is the time I probably saw this file. Okay, or maybe it looks like same to me. Okay, yes, so last modified file and camel's, you know, timestamp, they are storing the same information. This is the content of the file. Okay, it's saying hello ABC world. So it's working. So we have implemented our use case. What about our second requirement? So we have fulfilled first requirement, monitor a directory. We are monitoring the directory. Print the content of the file. We managed to print the content of the file, even, you know, bonus headers. Third requirement was to move to another directory called processed, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what we said. Yeah, if we try to look our code over here, yes, so it should be going to this folder called process. So if I do ll at this point, ls minus l, yeah, so I can see it has created a folder called processed. So if I do ll processed, I hope it has a file called abc1.txt, which we just created. Okay, so these files are, I think, from my previous run. Okay, so if I create a new file over here called abc3, for example, okay, and I simply say this is file number 3. Okay, right, and let's clean this console over here. write and come out. As you can see, this is the headers, this is a list of headers, this is the content of the file. Okay, and if I do ls processed, a new file called abc3.txt has been added into this particular folder. All right, done. So this is how you write camel root in Java DSL. As I promised, let's try to convert this particular use case in XML DSL now. Okay, so I'm going to stop this particular thing. Okay, hide our console as well for time being. So what do we have to do for XML? Okay, first thing you have to do is come to your application.yaml. In application.yaml, you need to put camel, you say spring camel enable root. Yeah, okay, let's try to find that. So you say camel dot spring boot dot roots include pattern. That's it. That's what you need to put. You can specify, you know, how do you want to and where do you want to read your XML files from. I am going to say, please read from class path. You can give absolute path. Okay, you can give relative path. I'm saying read from class path and look for a folder called camel roots. Okay, and anything underneath. Make sense? So we are simply saying camel spring boot roots include pattern, camel roots. Where do you want to create this folder? You would like to create this folder under resources, and folder like this I have created. Yeah. Now let's try to create our root into this folder called camel roots. Let's call, maybe I just want to call it roots.xml. All right, that's been created. So how you do that? You say roots. Okay, and let's close that. Root ID, and then so these are our roots, and then you have to individually define a root. So I'm going to say root ID equal to file mover, probably. Yeah, file mover, and inside that you simply, actually what I can do is I can be a little cheeky over here. I can actually copy this bit and we convert that to XML. How about that? Okay, so you simply need to say from, actually I should have copied from as well, from. Okay, and then you say URI equal file blah blah blah. This should work. Okay, and from will be closed like this. Okay, wonderful. And then you say log message equals to message equal, let's this time just put headers, because last time, you know, we were not quite sure which one is header, which one is not. Okay, and we're gonna repeat same for our body content. So let's repeat same for our body content, and over here we can say body close, and then you complete this with this element called to, and you want to say URI equal file done. Okay, so at this point I have now managed to build my roots. Only one thing we need to put in our roots is this path. Okay, XMLNS, yeah, XML naming space. So, and let's format our file. Nicely done. Let's get rid of this. So if I want to simply stop this thing, I can remove this file, so we don't get confused, right, which one is running. So I have now removed my Java. That's pretty much it. Okay, let's run this application again. As you can see, we don't have Java now, we only have XML root. Okay, and we have pretty much, migrated our Java to XML over here. If we get lucky, hopefully it should work. Okay, as you can see, it's saying started file mover. Okay, this is printing the kind of basic details that, okay, one route has been started by Camel. Let's go back to our terminal over here. So if I just do ll processed, I can see I have abc, abc1, abc2, abc3. Let's create a new file called abc4, and we can say hi XML. Okay, if I come out, same behavior, 100 same behavior. It's just that now we are using XML root. Okay, as you can see, we printed headers, title or label. We also printed body label. I got my headers over here, I got my content over here. All right, okay, so that's what I wanted to show you today, how you can kickstart your journey of using Apache Camel. I hope you like the tutorial. As I said, my advanced Apache Camel videos are also available. Please have a look. If you like the video, give me thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. If you like to see any new content, please do let me know. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.